and take. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the All-Enlightened One. Ee Shantinayaka Arahat Samyak Sambuddhajanan Vahanseta Mage Namaskare Veva. Good afternoon, my friends in Dhamma. Now we are going to start our next program, that is my Dhamma talk. I thought of delivering it bilingually, both in English and Sinhalese, as I do in America very often. Like I would say first in English, then in Sinhalese. I will alternate between the two, making sure that I wouldn't, that what I say in English wouldn't be lost during the translation into Sinhala. Okay. So the topic, as you know, is how to live a complaint-free life. I have the notepads, save papers and ink nowadays. Yeah. So that's the topic: how to live a complaint-free life. Is there such a life that is called free of complaints? I don't think so. So that is the purpose. We always complain. If there's no one that we can direct our complaints at, we would simply complain against ourselves. That could start with a simple wording like, I hate you, I hate myself, up to a critical expression like, I'm going to kill him, or I'm going to take my own life, right? So based on the level of frustration, stress, depression, etc. Now this is a very tricky word when it comes to, in English, the word complain is very simple. Whereas when it comes to Buddhism, it is explained a bit differently. So the first thing there are a few steps that I'm going to follow during this sermon. First I will explain, the first step would be that I explain different types of complaints. Second, why we need to avoid company in order for personal peace. Avoidance of company for personal peace. That would be the second step. Third step would be do more listening than talking. Those are the three basic steps. Ada me dharma deshanava මාතෘකාව how to live a complaint free life. ඒ කියන්නේ එක එකනාට චෝදනා කරන්නේ නැතුව බනින්න නැතුව කොහොමද අපේ ජීවිතය ගත කරන්න කියන එක. එහෙම ජීවිතයක් තියෙනවද? එහෙම එකක් නැහැ. මට මං ගැනවත් විශ්වාස නැහැ ශනිකෝ කෙනෙකුට බනින්න පුළුවන්. ඒක තමයි ස්වභාවය අපේ. එතකොට ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් ගත්තාම complaint කියන වචනේ හරි සරලයි. තේරුමක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වුණාට බුද්ධ ධර්මයට අනුව ඒ වචනේ ඊට බොහොම සංකීර්ණ එකක්. As I said earlier, in English, complaint is such a simple word that it plays a big role in our day-to-day vocabulary. Whereas when it comes to Buddhism, there are two different types of complaints. And let me share with you the corresponding Pali words. First Pali word that would mean complaint is chodana. C-O-D-A-N-A, chodana. First word. Second word is viloma. V-I-L-O-M-A. Viloma. Second word is viloma. Now, let's see what these terms mean. පාලියෙන් ගත්තහම තියෙනවා වචන දෙකක්. ඔය නැත්නම් අනුන්ට බණින එකට කම්ප්ලේන් කියන නියම වචන පැමිණිලි කරනවා කියන එක නේ පැමිණිල්ල. ඔය පැමිණිල්ලට පාලියෙන් වචන දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි චෝදනා කියන වචනේ. අනිත් වචනේ තමයි විලෝම කියන වචනේ. ඒ දෙක. Now let's see what these Pali terms would mean in terms of complaints. So the first word is chodana, C-O-D-A-N-A, chodana. It comes from the Pali root chud, C-U-D, khad, not khad. Pali pronunciation chud, C-U-D, pronounced chud. Chud means that means reproof or reprimand. Reprove or reprimand. So that is the first meaning. So that's the first Pali term for complaint. Now, second word is viloma. That's V-I-L-O-M-A, viloma. The key word is loma. Main word is loma, meaning grain or hair. Loma. And you use prefix V with loma, hence viloma. Viloma means against the grain, against the hair. Against the hair. See? Now මෙතකොට තේරුම් දෙකයි. ඒතර චෝදනා කියන වචනේ it's good that when I give my talk bilingual talk, so you have time to think about what I said first. Okay. I know some people understand both languages because I never want to have anyone feeling left out. So that's why in America I always talk bilingually. First in English, then in Sinhalese, in case there is a Sinhalese audience. So ඊළඟට දැන් චෝදනා කියන වචනේ අපිට කාටත් හුරුයි. ඒක හැදෙන්නේ චොයන්න අල්දයන්න. චුද් කියන වචනෙන් තමයි හැදෙන්නේ. ඒ චුද් කියන වචනේ තේරුම තමයි මේ කෙනෙකුට තදින් අවවාද කරනවා. අවවාද කිරීමක් කරනවා. පස්සේ මම වෙනස කියනවා. දැන් මම වෙනස කියන්නේ අගේ කරනවා ටිකක්. මේ චෝදනා කරනවා. කෙනෙකුට ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කියන reproof නැත්නම් reprimand කරනවා. අර ගෙන්නලා සමහරට ඔබේ සමහරට වැඩපොලේදී එහෙම කරන්න ඉන්න තියෙනවනේ නේද? බොස් ගෙන්නලා reprimand කරන්නේ. දැන් නිවාඩු කොච්චර ගත්තද? ආයෙ ගත්තොත් තනි කරන වැඩේ. ඒ reprimand නේ. අන්න එතන තමයි චෝදනා කියන්නේ. ඊළඟට දෙවෙනි වචනේ තමයි විලෝම කියලා කිව්වේ. විලෝම කියන වචනේ හැදෙන්නේ වි කියන උපසර්ගය මුල් වෙලා ලෝම කියන වචනට එකතු වෙනවා වි ලෝම. ඒතර විලෝම ලෝම කියලා කියන්නේ hair. කොණ්ඩේ ඇඟේ hair වෙන්න පුළුවන්, body hair වෙන්න පුළුවන්, එහෙම නැත්නම් කොණ්ඩේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට කොණ්ඩේට hair කෙස් වලට විරුද්ධව කියන එක. ඒක තමයි දෙවෙනි වචන තේරුම විලෝම කියන්නේ. එතකොට next shall we now let's look at how different these two words are in terms of meaning and connotation. Now, just to say, chodana has a positive connotation, meaning it has a meaning. It is something good. You can do chodana to someone, whereas you are not supposed to do viloma against someone. You cannot make chodana against someone. It's not good. You are able. It's ethically acceptable to direct chodana against someone, at someone, whereas it is ethically unacceptable to direct viloma against or at someone. So in English you wouldn't get that kind of variation, two types of it. But in Pali, in Buddhist psychology, there are these two types of complaints. Now again, the first type of complaint, which is chodana in Pali, is to reprove or reprimand someone in good faith, just to train someone. just to guide someone, to put someone on the right track, to put someone on the right direction. So that is called chodana. Whereas viloma, that is V plus loma means, which means against the hair, is complain with malicious intent, not with a good intent, with a malicious intent. So that is the difference. ඊළඟට දැන් බලමු අපෝ සිංහලෙන් now in Sinhalese. චෝදනා කියලා කියන වචනේ හොඳ එකක්. දැන් විනයේ තියෙනවා හාමුදුරු නමක් වරදක් කළාම අනිත් හාමුදුරු ඉක්මනට බුදුහාමුදුරන්ට ගිහලා පැමිණිලි කරනවා. කම්ප්ලේන්ට් කරනවා. බුදුහාමුදුරන්ට ගිහලා කියනවා. ඒක පාලියේ සඳහන් වෙන්නේ බුදුහාමුදුරේම අනුමත කරලා තියෙනවා. යම්කිසි භික්ෂුවක් වරදක් කළොත්, භික්ෂුවක් හෝ භික්ෂුණියක් වරදක් කළොත් චෝදෙය්‍ය, you may complain. බුදුහාමුදුරේ දේශනා කළා තියෙනවා. චෝදනා කරන්න. ඉතින් ඒකට අපි ගමේ භාෂාවෙන් කියන කණේ තියනවා කියලා. ආවරු කෙනෙක් වරදක් කර දැක්ක ගමන්ම ගිහිල්ලා අනිත් හාමුදුරුවෝ අරහම් බුදුහාමුදුරන්ගේ කණේ තියනවා. ඒකට කියන්නේ ඒක හොඳ ආරම්භණකින් කරන්නේ. එතකොට බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ ඒ භික්ෂුව ගෙන්නලා අහනවා මේ අනිත් අය කියන කතාව ඇත්තද? මේ ඔබ මෙහෙම වරදක් කළාද කියලා අහනවා. සමහරට එහෙම කියනකොට මේ කියන කෙනා සමහරට කියලා යන්නේ මම බුදුහාමුදුර ළඟට ගිහලා ඔබට විරුද්ධව පැමිණිලි කරනවා කියලා යන වෙලාවල් තියෙනවා. ඒක හොඳ දෙයක් නේ. දෙවෙනි එකේදී එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ. දෙවෙනි එකේදී තරහරන් වෙන අරමුණකින් තමයි චෝදනා කරන්නේ. විලෝම කියන එක. විලෝමයේදී අපි හොරෙන් බොහෝ විට කරන්නේ ඒක. අනිත් අය දැනෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න කරනවා. තව කෙනෙක් කියනවා නම් මේ පෙස්සන් ගහනවා, කැලෑපත්‍ර ගහනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් Tamanට කරන්න බැන්නම් සල්ලි දීලා තව කෙනෙක් ලව කියවනවා. Taman සම්බන්ධ නැහැ වගේ. ඒක ඔක්කොම විලෝම. දැන් ඊළඟ රවුමේ කියන්නම් මේක තේරුම් වෙනවා. Now chodana again is to reprove or to reprimand or to lodge complaints against someone in good faith. In good faith meaning to train someone, to show someone the right path, to put someone on the right direction, to put someone on the right track. There are a lot of incidents of chodana or complaints in good faith, complaints with good intent, that occur in the Pali Canon, especially in the Vinaya Pitaka. That is the code of conduct for monks and nuns. On many occasions, whenever a certain group of monks see someone within a certain member of their group doing something unbecoming of a monk, unbecoming of their monkhood, or a nun or a bhikkhuni, noticing the behavior that is unbecoming of a bhikkhuni, and so someone, a certain member of the group or the entire group would go to Buddha and complain against that monk whom they think that has violated some rules. And Buddha would mandate that. Buddha himself had mandated in the Vinaya. Chodeya, that is the word. You may complain. But at that point, the Buddha uses the word chodana. That's why in Buddhist psychology, complaint is totally different there. Now, at that point, because sometimes when you only use the English word complain, a lot of people have asked me on different occasions, it's okay to complain against someone. Then, before I say yes or no, then I would ask what kind of complaint are you talking about? And then they would have the next question. Is there a difference? Are there different kinds of complaints? And they would say, yes, there are two different kinds of complaints. So based on my previous discussions with different people in different countries, I thought I should talk about this today. Because sometimes it is really confusing to use the word complain. Now, chodana is complaint with good intent. And you can come up with a lot of of stories, a lot of stories in the Buddhist canon, especially in the Vinaya Pitaka, where monks would report to the Buddha. And in many occasions, on many occasions, the one who is going to complain against someone, he would first announce it. Okay, I'm going to Buddha to complain against you. Why such a and it is, they take it, and such monks are considered very brave. Why? Because someone doing that type of complaint is doing that to train someone, to help someone, to guide someone, to pull someone out of the problems or issues that someone else is going through. So chodana is a good word. So in legal philosophy also, I think, so what is that, accused, so, and we use that in court language. In legal terminology also we use in Sinhalese especially. Chodaka, one who lodged the complaints. Chodita, who is accused. Accused and the accused, the plaintiff and the defendant. Right? So Chodita is the defendant because there's complaint against you. Now the judge is, you are before the judge. In Sinhalese language, the defendant is called Chodita, one who is the target of Chodana, meaning, so, and it has to be, so that so it's a good thing. Now, strictly in the Buddhist spiritual sense, that Chodana, that type of complaint is totally acceptable because you don't have any malicious intent to do any harm, to cause harm to someone, to assassinate someone's character, to offend someone. It's a different story that sometimes some people would be offended by your chodana, but it's their problem. Don't worry about that. It's their problem because you are doing that in good faith. After a long time, and you would find yourself listening to compliments from them. Probably you might have a lot of experience. I do. Recently, there was one teenage boy in the family in Sri Lanka. So that twice I had to save him from police bail. I had bailed him out. But the third time he was not the police and he went to jail. I advised him a lot. That time I never volunteered to help him. Why? He deserved that punishment. He hit someone. He deserved 14 days in jail. So that his parents asked me to help. I said, no, can't do that. I can't interfere with the police or the justice system. He deserves that punishment. It is his karma. Let him face it. So what happened 14 days later, he was out of jail. And then they wouldn't talk to me anymore. Now, his friends, two of his friends, murdered someone days later. Had he not been thrown behind bars for 14 days, he would have aided and abetted that crime. Then everyone called me, Bante, you helped me, the boy said. Parents said, Bante, you saved our child. Then I told, so that is why I told you. And the second time I never volunteered to, even though you asked me, I never wanted to save him. That he should face it. But when I did chodana, you didn't accept it. So, like that is the first type of chodana. I think it's Lankaji lame, teenage කෙනෙක්. වරින් දෙපාරක් කළාම පොලිසියට ගිහලා බේරගත්තා ලංකාවේදී. මම දන්න ළමයි කෙනෙක් රෙකමන්ඩ් කළාම පොලිස් බේල් දුන්නා. උසාවි දාන්න නැතුව. තුන්වෙනි වතාවේදී මේ දැම්ම මේ නඩුකාරයා මේ නෝනා කෙනෙක් හිටියේ බොහොම සැර පේරි ජජ් කෙනෙක් හිටියේ. හරිම සැරයි. ඊපස්සේ මම කිව්වා උසාවියට අත ගහන්න බෑ. මෙයා වරදක් කළා තියෙනවා මේක ලොකු දෙයක් කෙනෙක්ට ගහලා තුවාල හොස්පිටල් එකේ ඉන්නේ බේරන්න බෑ. මම චෝදනා කළානේ බේරගන්න කියලා ඇහුවේ නෑනේ. දවස් 14කට ගියා. දවස්තාවකට ගිහලා එළියට ආවට පස්සේ ඒ ඉන්න අතරතුරේදී එයාගේ යාළුවෝ දෙන්නෙක් මිනිමරුමකට අහු වුණා. ඊට පස්සේ මෙයා එළියට ආවට පස්සේ මෙයා අහුන්නේ නැහැ නේකට. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ ළමයාත් කතා කරලා කිව්වා සාදු මාව බේරගත්තා. මේ මාව හිරෙන් බේරගත්තේ නැතිව මාව හිරේට යන්නදලා තමයි ඒකෙන් තමයි බේරුනේ. දෙමෝපියන්ට ස්තුති කළා. ඉතින් මම හැබැයි කියලාම තමයි කිව්වේ. මේ කටියට කිව්වා. දෙමෝපියන්ට කතා කරලා නෑන්ට කිව්වා මේ සැරේ මම බේරගන්නේ නැහැ. උසාවි හිරේ අනේකම හොඳයි කියලා අනේ හොඳයි කියලා කිව්වා. හැබැයි අනේ හොඳයි කිව්වේ තරහින් නෙවෙයිනේ. එම් හොඳයි කිව්වේ එයාට යහපතක් වෙන්නේ හින්දා. So that is the first type of complaint. The second type is viloma, as you know, viloma, V plus loma. Loma is body hair, not really hair on your head, it's body hair, loma. Now this is called loma, viloma. So the viloma literally means again against the grain. When you rub your hand against the rough surface, against the grain, or when you rub rub your skin against the hair, rubbing against the hair, what happens to you? So that means the odor is gone, right? So its odor is gone. So when you rub towards, and then it is soothing. Whereas you rub against the hair, it could even cause some pain. Viloma. So viloma is to complain with the malicious intent. So most of the time, people don't see the difference. People justify their chodana as their viloma as chodana. There's vast difference between chodana and viloma. So viloma කියලා කියන්නේ අර කෙස් අතේ තියෙන ඇඟේ තියෙන මේ රෝම වලට විරුද්ධව අපි අත තදින් තියලා ප්‍රෙස් කරලා විරුද්ධ වදිනට when you run your hand you press your hand thoroughly on the skin and you rub against the hair and you feel like you are pulling the hair and also it causes some pain. ඒ වගේ තමයි විලෝම කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ විදිහේ malicious විදිහට චෝදනා කරනකොට හොඳ අරමුණකින් නොවේ නම් කෙනෙකුට විරුද්ධව මේ පැමිණිලි කරන්නේ ඒකට කියන්නේ විලෝම කියලා. ඒක Tamanටත් හානියක් වෙනවා අනුන්ටත් හානියක් වෙනවා. Viloma causes collateral damage. ඒක දෙගොල්ලටම හානියක් වෙනවා. Whereas chodana doesn't cause damage to yourself and no damage done to the other party either. It's a different story that the other party would mistake you as that you are acting with malicious intent. Actually, you are honestly willing to save that person. So that is the two kinds of complaint. Any questions so far? ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද මෙතර වෙලා අපේ කිව්ව ටිකෙන්? Nani? No questions. Now the second step, clear? So what are the two Pali words? Complaint with good intent is chodana, and the complaint with malicious or bad intent, viloma. Viloma is a cute word, I like it. Because the first time I came up with this word, I tested myself. I pressed my hand on my skin and then ran my hand against the hair, and then I feel like some pain because I was almost like pulling out my own hair. Then I stop it. Meaning, when you do viloma or complain with the malicious intent, who gets hurt first? You, yourself. You hurt yourself and then you hurt someone. That's why it causes collateral damage, collateral pain. You hate, so you can test yourself when you complain against someone. But there's a tricky situation too. Some people having complaints against someone, having done chodana against someone, is it okay to do the Pali word here? Right here? Now that you know the word, it's good to use that word. Having done some chodana against someone in good faith, so chodana means in good faith, complain in good faith. If you still feel guilty, what does that mean? Your heart is too good. That's the bottom line. Your heart is too good. You are so good that you want to help someone, but at the same time you feel guilty. But that guilt has no grounds. That is groundless guilty. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Because when you practice chodana, you need some strength. You need some reliance, self-reliance. Trust yourself and stick to the course. Stick to the course. Stay ground, stay your ground, and stay calm until the other party sees the results. It might take weeks, maybe years, but it is okay. And at the same time, in order to prevent your groundless guilt, meditate on the party, do metta to the party, but without letting them know. Don't let them know. Otherwise, they might find you guilty. Right? Because you are not guilty. In good faith, you feel guilty. That his guilt has no grounds. There's no reason. You cannot reason out that guilt. There's no way to reason that. So at that point, you have to do guilt. So that up until you see the results, do metta. එතකොට මුල් එකේදී චෝදනා කරනකොට පොඩි වෙනසක් වෙනවා. චෝදනාව කරනකොට හිත හොඳින් කළාට මොකද සමහර දුකක් හිතෙනවා. වරදක් කළා දෝ මං අහවලාට කියලා. ඒ වෙලාවේදී ඒ වරදක් කළා කියලා හිතෙන්නේ හොඳ දෙයක් කරන්න කියලා වරදක් කළා කියලා හිතෙන්නේ මොකද දන්නවද? ඔබේ හදවත හොඳ වැඩි. හදවත හොඳ හින්දා තමයි මේ හිතෙන්නේ. ඒ වෙලාවේදී අනිත් පාටියකට අනිත් පුද්ගලයාට චෝදනාව ලබන පුද්ගලයාට කියන්නේ නැතුව හැම විටම guilty වෙනකොට මෛත්‍රී කරන්න. Whenever you feel guilty, despite the fact that you have done chodana, which is complaining in good faith, never let the other part that you are doing metta. Do metta to the other part. Every time you feel guilty. Why? That guilt has no grounds. That is unreasonable. එක පළවෙනි එක. දෙවෙනි එකේදී මේ විලෝම complaint with malicious intent, bad intent to hurt someone. ඒකෙදී විලෝමයේදී සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ තමන් restless වෙනවා. තමන්ට හිතට විවේකයක් නැතු වෙනවා. ඔය මේ විලෝමේ නැත්තම් complaint with bad intent, malicious ඒක කරන්න කියන පද නින්ද යන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් තමන් කරපු චෝදනාව තමන්ගේ මහල බලන්න පුළුවන්. නින්ද යන්නේ නැත්තම් හීනෙන් පේනවා නම්. Some people have told me that in my psychotherapy sessions, recently one man told me that he was jealous of another man dating a girl whom he wanted to have for himself. His money couldn't buy her. So that he was jealous. It happened like weeks ago. This time in Florida I met him. And he came over and we had a chat for like 2 hours. And he told me something. The day I felt jealous of my friend, I was helpless. I couldn't tell him because he was one of my close friends. But that night, I woke up screaming. I had a bad dream. My friend came to me and I was, he held my neck so tight that I felt like he was going to kill me. Then I woke up screaming and there was no one in my room. I was happy that it was a dream, but at the same time feel ashamed that even I wouldn't be able to have sleep at peace. Why? Because I'm jealous. So another thing is, he hadn't been jealous of anyone in his life, but sexual jealousy is the worst one. Even a 100-year-old person could have sexual jealousy. You are not immune to that. It is not so that age doesn't matter when it comes to sexual jealousy. So now that was his problem. So why he came over me? He wanted to slander that girl. Before doing that, he never wanted to do more harm, because he never wanted to go for Viloma. He's a good person though. That's why he came over. He was able to prevent so that, but already in his mind he was being jealous, and now he was in his head. Viloma was in the making. He was planning to complain, do something against that, against his own friend, out of jealousy. Out of jealousy that his friend won the heart of that girl, and even this man, he was very rich. His money couldn't buy her. That was he was angry. He felt ashamed. I had millions, but that the girl said no to me. My friend, this is a classic story too. This is a classic love triangle. එතකොට එතනදී අර මේ හැබැයි ඒ පුද්ගලයා ඇත්ත කිව්වා. ඊර්ෂ්‍යාවක් ආවා. එදා නෑ නිින්ද ගියේ නෑ. නිින්ද ගියේ නැත්තේ මොකද? රැයට හීනෙන් ඇවිල්ලා යාළුවා බෙල්ල මිරිකුවා. මරන්න වගේ කෑ ගහගෙන හැරුණේ. බලන්න සතුටක් ආවා හීනයක් නේ කියලා. ඒත් එකම ලැජ්ජා හිතුණා. ඇයි මම මෙහෙම හිතන්නේ කියලා. එතකොට අර විලෝම මට්ටම දක්වා ඔහු ගියේ නැහැ. Now, are the definitions clear now? විග්‍රහය නිර්වචනය පැහැදිලි නේද? Now let's move to the second step. Avoidance of company for personal peace. Now, we can live without a company. That's elsewhere Buddha says, ha samyoga viyoganta. Alas, I lost my friends, I lost my company. Loss of company, loss of emotional company is one of the major misfortunes in our life, as Buddha says. One of the inevitable misfortunes in our life. One of them is loss of company. How many people live in depression because they don't have a good company? A lot of people, they live in loneliness. However, Buddha recommends, when you don't find a good company, so we are yet to touch the actual topic, right? How to live with a complaint-free life. We are yet to discuss that. Slowly we are coming to that. Slowly, steadily. Now, Buddha uses these two words. I think some of you who attended the classes also already know those Pali words. So these two words, not Pali, in English. Solitude, loneliness and solitude. Two different things. When someone living all alone would give you a sense that they live in loneliness. Immediately, our immediate sense of someone living by himself or someone living by themselves is called that person. They don't have anyone to associate with. Not necessarily. Some people choose to live a solitary life, and that life is life in solitude, not life in loneliness. Apparently, so you can simply decide whether someone is living all by themselves because they feel lonely. No, probably they choose to. They got fed up with the companies, different companies that they choose from time to time, but none of the companies fitted in their life, so that they decided to go alone. That is called solitude. And Buddha recommends solitude, loneliness, against loneliness. But those who are living a lonely life, they stand an ample opportunity to turn their life into that one lived in solitude too. But in order for that, they need company, right right and trustworthy friendship. I know a lot of people live in loneliness. Socially, they claim that they live in solitude. They are lying. Why? You can't. Sometimes you have to hide. You can't disclose a lot of private things to the society. Why? Instead of helping, there can be more trouble coming. Right? So that you can come. එතකොට මේ වචන දෙකක් තියෙනවා ඔය මේ දැන් අපිට කෙනෙකුට උදව්වක් නැතුව ජීවත් වෙන්න බෑනේ. ලෝකයේ තියෙන ප්‍රධානම ප්‍රශ්න වලින් එකක් තමයි මේ ආශ්‍රයයට කෙනෙකු නැති බව. ආශ්‍රයෙන් නැති හැබැයි ආශ්‍රය කරන හින්දාම තමයි ප්‍රශ්න වෙන්නේ. දැන් ඔය ධර්මයේ තියෙන වචන දෙකක් මේ තනිකමෙන් ජීවත් වීම සහ හුදකලාව ජීවත් වීම කියලා. තනිකම කියලා කියන්නේ loneliness කියන එක ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන්. හුදකලාව කියලා කියන්නේ solitude කියන එක. ඒතර බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ අනුමත කරලා තියෙනවා solitude කියන එක. solitary life. හැබැයි lonely life කියලා කියන්නේ බෑ. හැබැයි සමාජ ජීවත් වෙනකොට කෙනෙකුට හැබැයි කෙනෙක් තනියම ජීවත් වෙනවා දකිනකොට වැඩි දෙනෙක් කියන්නේ එයාට කවුරුවත් නැහැ පව් තනියම ඉන්නේ එකයි. ඒක නොවෙන්න පුළුවන් හේතුව. සමහරට එක එකනත් එක්ක ඉඳලා එපා වෙලා තවදුරටත් කෙනෙකු විශ්වාස කරන්න බැරි ඉන්න තනියම ඉන්නවා. ඒක ස්පිරිචුවල් ආධ්‍යාත්මික හේතුකට වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, බැටකාලා අත්දැකීම තුලින් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Some people choose to live a life in solitude not necessarily for a spiritual reason, but due to their painful experience from their past experience. However, solitary life is better. Life in solitude is better. That could be the only solution. But however, you need some assistance from a kalyana mitra or a trustworthy friend for that. හැබැයි එහෙම ජීවත් වෙනකොට හොඳ හිතවත් කල්යාණ මිත්‍රයෙකු උදව් ඕන වෙනවා මේ ඒ වගේ ජීවිතයක් ගත කරන්න. මොකද සමාජෙට කියන්න බෑනේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න කිව්වහම මේ වෙනවා. I know a lot of 30 over cases involving girls living in loneliness. When they disclose their problems to someone else, they brought a lot of men to her life. Some of them got raped too. So this time also I met some girls in Florida and also Sri Lanka. One piece of admonition, not advice, admonition I gave them. Okay, don't disclose your problems to anyone. Don't trust anyone at once. And that could bring you more trouble on top of all the troubles you have been going through. In someone in ලංකාවේදී ෆ්ලොරිඩා වල හම්බෙච්ච ළමයි කීපෙනෙක් කිව්වා ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇති වුණාම මේක සැරේ කියන්න යන්න එපා. තව ප්‍රශ්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද අර එක ප්‍රශ්නයකදී පිරිමි අය හඳුන්වලා දීලා. ඔබ ලේසියෙන් කරන්න වැඩන්නේ. අනිත් අය හිතුවා මෙයා තනි වෙලා ඉන්නේ කාන්තාවක් නැති හින්දා. Some people are mistaken as the fact that they believe that some men and women live loneliness just because they don't have a girl or a man or a woman. That's not the case. Some people, sexuality is no relevance at all to some people's loneliness. But typically people think that someone is living a loneliness because he is going through breakup something. So that's not the case. And a lot of people, sexuality is not in their vocabulary. They don't even think about it. I know a lot of girls and boys who are asexual. They are asexual. They don't have any sexual feeling. I know කොල්ලෝ කෙල්ලෝ තරුණ තරුණිය මම ගොඩක් දන්නවා එයාට ලිංගික හැඟීම් නැහැ. That's part of the modern current generation as well. එතකොට ඒකම නෙමෙයි ප්‍රශ්නේ වෙන්නේ ගොඩක් අය. එහෙම නෙමෙයි. ගොඩක් අය තියෙන්නේ හොඳ හිතවතෙක් ඕන වෙන්න ඕන. This is a public forum, I can still say that most of my close friends are women. මගේ ගොඩක් හිතවත් මෙයාලෝ ඉන්නේ කාන්තාවෝ. ඒතර සමහර අය මගෙන් අහනවා හාමුදුරුවෝ ඇයි ඒ කාන්තාව ආශ්‍රය කරන්නේ? මංග ප්‍රශ්නේ වැරදිනේ. ඉන්ටෙන්ට් එක වැරදි නම් උත්තර දෙන්නේ නැහැ. Most of my close friends are girls, women, and some of my friends, male friends, are, why do you have in the company of women? I said, wrong question. Your intent is not good. I'm not going to answer your question. එතකොට ඒක හේතුවක් නැහැ. I don't follow my horoscope. My horoscope also say the same thing. Wherever you go, you will have a big following of women. කේන්දරෙත් කියලා දෙනවා විශ්වාස කරන්නේ නැතර වැඩිපුර මේ ළඟින් සමීපයෙන් ඉන්නේ කාන්තාව ගොඩක් කියලා. My mother understood it. She passed away many years ago. My younger sister understood it. My sisters understood it. I think එතකොට ඒ company right company. So everyone needs company. But however, if a company traumatizes you, brings you suffering, then you better be alone. Go live in solitude. That's way better, so that you can have inner peace. Finally, we do a lot of things in our life. The whole purpose is to live at peace. It is peace that we fail to get, even though a lot of things in our day-to-day life. So inner peace is our purpose. එතකොට චිත්ත සාමයෙන් අපිට තියෙන බලාපොරොත්තු ඒක කරන්න ගියාට පස්සේ කරදර වෙනවා නම් අපි එතනදී කාර්ය ආශ්‍රය නොකර ඉන්න ඕන. Now the warm-up is over. Now let's look at the topic, how to live a complaint-free life. Between the lines I have explained that more or less. But now we come to the critical point. So, if you know that your life has to be complaint-free, means it has to be free from not of chodana, but of viloma. Now, it's okay to complain, it's okay to do chodana or complaints in good faith to train someone. In fact, that is the leadership quality. That's not the problem here. We are talking about the other kind of complaint, viloma. In case you are a good person, so good that people even misuse you. I know a lot of people in this audience who have personally told me how it took you like many years to understand that some people have misused you. So that recently one of the senior monks advised me, Upanam, there's no point knowing all those having a lot of knowledge in you. You have been misused by a lot of other people. Be watchful. Don't be that compassionate. Be compassionate, but don't let others misuse you. I said, yes, sir, I understand that, I accept that. So then I started keeping some people not at arm's length in classical lingo. I would keep them millions of miles away. So that's the first thing. In order to live a life that is free of complaints, or at least to life that is not affected by viloma, complaints, you need to avoid the company of others. 2 ways. Now, you are a good person, but not your company. If your company continually abuses you, continually brings you negative energy, negative vibes, so then you need to avoid that company, so that your life start becoming a complaint-free one. Why? Otherwise, it would cause harm to both parties. Now, your heart is pure and good. You always help others, but they don't appreciate your help. They don't appreciate your presence in their life. So as a result, when they don't value your presence in their life, as a putujjana or an average person, you may at times feel angry. If not angry, you will feel patigha sanya. You will go experience a sense of resistance. But you are helpful. But you don't have guts to openly verbalize your feelings. And because you are too good, you are so good that you don't know how to open up and share your feelings. You have no energy, no guts to say to the negative company, please don't come here again, or please leave me. You continue to live with that party. Sometimes you are bound by obligations and legal and ethical and moral obligations, so that there's no way that you walk away. At that point, try everything possible. Avoid contact with them, so that automatically there'll be less and less opportunity in your less and less chance for you on your side to do vilova. Otherwise, you cannot take all those negative things from there to a certain extent. Beyond a certain point, when they continually drain your energy, how could you live your life at peace? The best thing is to avoid them. Talk to him once in a while, but again, have metta to them. Don't let them know that you are doing metta to them. Otherwise, if you do that, if you say that, they will find you, they will call you weak, and they will call you, oh, you don't have backbone. Do metta in private. Don't say that openly. So that is the best thing to avoidance of company. The first and foremost step that you have to take to live your life free of complaints. Because otherwise people always drain your energy. As a counsel, I know that recently I came across 2 sisters in Sri Lanka. I went through my e-diary. I noticed that I have advised them 52 times. Still, every time they open up and then they are back in square one. So they gave them I gave them a plan to work out. For the next 21 weeks, you will be doing this. No comment, no text messages, no Facebook messages, no WhatsApp messages, no phone calls, no emails, nothing. Do that. And recently their mother called me and said, my daughters speak very high of you. I said, I don't want to hear that. I said, now this time they are trying to access me through their mother. I felt it. Now they are in chronic complaint. That's another thing. Chronic complaint. Chronic viloma. It's a medical condition too. It's a clinical condition. Chronic viloma. So that is, you need to avoid the company of such people. If you choose to associate with such people, you don't have to go to hell again. You're already in hell. කොච්චර කිව්වත් අහන්නේ නැතිව දැන් මම දන්නවා ලංකාවේ ඥාන ළමයි දෙන්නෙක් මම මගේ ඩයරිය බැලුවාම ඩයරිය බැලුවාම 50 දෙවතාවක් මම ඇඩ්වයිස් කරලා තියෙනවා 50 දෙවතාවක් කතා කළාමත් කිව්වා අනේ හාමුදුරනේ හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නේ මට තියෙන්නේ මම ගලව ප්‍රශ්නේ දැන් 51 වතාවක් කිව්වනේ මට ඊට පස්සේ මම දුන්නා සති 21කට සති 21 කියන්නේ දවස් කීයදනේ ප්ලෑන් එකක් දුන්නා මේක ඉම්ප්ලිමන්ට් කරන්න මේ අනුව කරන්න WhatsApp කතා කරන්න එපා, Facebook එන්නත් එපා, email කරන්නත් එපා, SMS එපා, phone call එකක් මොනවත් එපා. ඒතකොට අම්මා හරහා message එකක් අම්මා කතා කරලා කියනවා මේ අපේ දුවලා දෙන්න හාමුදුරන්ට හරි ආදරෙන් කතා කරන්නේ මේ දවස්වල. මම කිව්වා මට ඒකවත් අහන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඔය දැන් ඔයා හරහානේ එන්න හදන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ එතකොට එතන තියෙන chronic viloma. මම මේ දවස්වල ඒක පොඩි තව ලියාගෙන යන පොඩි රිසර්ච් එකක් මේ ක්ලිනිකල් සයිකෝതെරපි වලට. chronic viloma. සමහරව ඉන්නවා කොච්චර හදන්න හැදුවත් බෑ. නිතරම කාලයකට වරදක් හොයාගෙන ඉනවා. ඒතර අපිත් ලෙඩ වෙනවනේ. අපිත් ලෙඩ වෙනවා. People with chronic viloma are way more dangerous than the coronavirus. Way more different than AIDS and Ebola. එතකොට නිතරම එයාගෙන් so you have to be watchful of such people and do more. And the second technique, there are two techniques. And the first step is to avoid the company that would bring you agony, that would agonize you. Especially be careful of those people who suffer from chronic viloma, always looking for someone to attack. They do attack for no reason. I have come across a lot of people like that. ගොඩක් අය ඉන්නවා. එහෙම අය. ඒ නිසා එයාගෙන් බේරෙන්න ඕන. ඉතින් අර මම කිව්වන් පස්සේ අර ඒක නිදන්ගත කියන තත්ත්වය. ක්‍රොනික් කියන්නේ නිදන්ගතනේ. නිදන්ගත මේ ඔය විලෝම ලක්ෂණයක් තියෙනවා. නිදන්ගත විලෝමය. chronic viloma. Chronic complaint with the malicious intent to cause harm. දැන් එතකොට ඔබ ඒ තත්ත්වයේ ඉන්නවා නම් if you are such a personality then you need counseling. I know none of you would have, but I'm just saying you as we talk. Then when you feel like you can stop complaining and finding fault with others. So that's a better phrase. Those who have viloma, they always find fault with others. They always look for and they use every opportunity to attack someone, verbally or at least mentally. They wouldn't say anything verbally. They wouldn't attack you physically, but they would they would inject negative vibes into you. They do that. I'm not an expert in that, but however I believe and I read other people's vibes. Sometimes someone is like few meters away, few yards away, right? And then as they approach, I feel like someone is bringing me something today. Then I take a deep breath like this, and then I send another wave of vibes that would counter. That's like I shoot a Patriot missile against the Scud missile. That's used in the Iraq war. Right? So Scud missiles and Patriot missiles. So I give a metta shot to them. I prepare myself, take a deep breath, and then I volunteer to smile first and talk first. That's called Pubbahasi, you smile first. Pubbabhani, you speak first. Don't wait for the negative party to say something. Why? When you smile first and say something positive and welcome them, probably they would never say what they were planning to say to you. So that is evidence-based. Right? Psychology is evidence-based. There's no lab research, right? So that's all evidence-based. You can test it for yourself. එතකොට කෙනෙක් සමහර අය මේ නිදන්ගත විලෝම ලක්ෂණේ තියෙන අය හොයාගෙන ඉන්නේ හාමුදුරන්ට හරි කමන්නේ මොකක් හරි කියන්න. එහෙම අය විතරම එනවා. එක දවසක් මට කෙනෙක් මම ඒක සිංහලෙන් විතරයි කියන්නේ. ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කියන්න හොඳ නැහැ. කෙනෙක් මාව හොයාගෙන ආවා පන්සලට. ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වා දැන් හාමුදුරුවෝ විතරයි මේ හාමුදුරුවොත් එක්ක විතරයි මම සාකච්ඡාවක් කරලා නැත්තේ. හාමුදුරුවන්ගේ කීපසරයක් ඇහුවා හාමුදුරුවෝ වෙලාවක් දුන්නේ නැහැ. අනිත් හාමුදුරුවෝ නම් කියන ප්‍රමාණයෙන් සාකච්ඡාවලට එනවා. ආමුදුරු විතරක් දුන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒක දේශපාලන සාකච්ඡාවක් ඉඳන් මම අවස්ථාව දුන්නේ නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ මෙයා කියනවා සමහරව ඉන්නවා දේශපාලනය කරන්නේ නැති වුණාට අනිත් අයට වඩා දේශපාලනය කියලා මට පොඩි දුන්නා මේක පොඩි උණ්ඩයක්. මම හුස්මක් කරන් නොදැනෙන්න අර හදන්නද මොනවද කිව්වේ නැහැ. එතකොට එයා වැඳලා ගියා යන්න බලන්න ඉඳලා. පෙරදුනානේ. එයා පෙරදුනා ඊට පස්සේ. ඊට පස්සේ මම එහෙම කොහොමද වෙන්නේ? මම ඔයා ඔය මහත්තයා කොහොමද දන්නේ මම දේශපාලනය කරනවද නැද්ද කියලා. කියලා මම එහෙම අහුන්නේ නැහැ ඒකට. අහුණා නම් collateral damage නේ. එතකොට හේතුවක් නැතුව ඇටැක් කරගෙන එනකොට මම ඒකට අහුුනේ නැහැ. මම ඒක සද්ද නැතුව හිටියා. මෛත්‍රී ෂොට් එක. ඒක මෙත්තා ෂොට් කියලා කියන්නේ. සුද්ධ කියන්නේ ඔකට. Westerners call it metta shot. Metta shot එකක් දෙන්න ඕන. You give them a metta shot. So that their hate, their hatred, whatever their shot of malice would be counted. And the next one is, the last step is do more listening than talking. That's the technique. Time is up. So I will explain this in brief and then I stop because the next talk is Venerable Professor Metagampiti Amdru is coming for the next talk and Sinhala Dhamma's talk. Do more listening than talking. Sometimes being part of a big company, maybe a professional circle or a private circle, a social group, you find it difficult to maintain your distance. In such a situation, do more listening than talking. Listen to others as much as possible, as frequently as possible, so that you can identify their weaknesses and you will know where to keep them, like a chess game. එතකොට වැඩිපුර දැන් අපට වෘත්තීය වශයෙන් හරි පෞද්ගලිකව හරි සමාජයේ ගෲප්ස් එක්කනේ අපි ඉන්නේ. එහෙම ඉන්නකොට අපිට පුළුවන්කමක් නැහැනේ මේ මිනිස්සු අයින් කරලා තියන්න. ඒ වෙලාවේදී මිනිස්සුන් දැනගන්න ඕනේ වැඩි අපි කතා කරන්නේ නැතුව එයාලට කතා කරන්න ඉඳලා අපි අහගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ. අහගෙන හිටියාම එයාලගේ weaknesses දුර්වලකම් අපට පේනවා. එහෙමද කියලා එතකොට යන්න පුළුවන්. So the last thing is that because you can avoid your company or the circle, you are part of a social circle, professional circle, private circle, family circle, circle of relatives, which is the worst one as people say. So that use minimal verbal communication. Right? Do more listening to them. Why? The more they talk, the more you listen, the more you make them talk, you can identify their weaknesses. You can read them so that you will, I have to keep this person like 3 meters away. This one 200 miles away. This one like 5 million miles away on another planet. So that's the best way to do that. I do that. But I do that in metta. I never condemn anyone. I never discriminate against anyone. But while giving them a metta shot, I keep them at a distance. They have no idea that the monkey is doing that. But that's the Buddha's technique. Thank you. Time is up. So thank you very much for listening. I didn't say much, but probably it took me more time because I did that both in English and Sinhalese. I like that anyway because it has to be all inclusive. Had I only continued in English, I would have said more, but actually this is the right amount of insight that I was supposed to share with you, right? And then you use a good recipe and you cook a curry and the quantity is not good, then you add water. So I never want to add more water. So that's the way. Insight එකකින් ඉවරයි. හැමදාම බොහොම ස්තුතියි. May you be well, happy and peaceful. හැමදාම සුවපත්